Kimberly.
Recording. Hooray. There's Nicole. Hi, Kimberly.
Oh,
Hi, Carol.
hello.
And Christy, you've got
Hi,
House
guys.
and Ray.
Hello,
Yay.
Carol.
That's so fun.
Thank
There's
you.
Sandy, Jennifer, and Rachel, and Shelly. Oh, you guys, so fun. So honored you guys are joining me on this gorgeous summer day. Okay, I'm turning off my do not disturb. Here we go. So much tech to be distracted by, right?
Thank you for the email. That was really helpful.
I'm so glad, and it was really easy for me. I just pre-programmed it to go out this morning. So it actually was very helpful for me as me too, Carol, because I just got to click on my own link.
Oh, good.
Good. And there's Rachel. We're getting our friends on that maybe would have missed it if not, because that, yeah, right? So it
We
wasn't
did.
annoying getting an extra email. It was like,
Oh,
oh yeah,
gosh.
okay, good. I'm so glad. Um, well, today we still have 2 minutes, but I'm excited because we've got hopefully Maddie does remember to join because we've got her fun. She shared she did a Patreon from a while ago. It was the anemone and berry, and it was the negative painting. I think I did a white rose, so that anemone and berry painting she might have done with a different class program I did, but she was excited to share it with the group. And since we kind of looked at Shelley's piece last month, which was technically just 2 weeks ago. Shelley's was in process. Maddie's is finished, and she wanted to share that with us quickly. But the lesson today, I'm really excited about. Where did I put it? Oh, it's right here, open next to me. Here we go. Um, we're going to be painting this today, which you guys saw those pictures. I always find it's fun if you're working in a new sketchbook or you're just it's kind of one of those borders are really fun to do when you're not quite sure what you want to create, but you want to just play a little bit. Whenever you can find a repeating pattern of something that's simple. And then on a day where you're feeling like, gosh, I really want to paint this flower, you already have a page that's partway done. So you can just kind of pop it right in the middle. Um, this is going to be great for people that are going on retreats with us too, a way to fill a page. Oftentimes when we start a new sketchbook, it's a little scary. So it's kind of fun to start with a border like this, especially something that's stripes and little round circles. So it feels approachable. So that's what we're going to be playing with. So if you're looking to gather materials, I am working out of, it's called a pith sketchbook. And if you are heading to the Cotswolds with us in less than a month, you have one. So I would suggest pulling that out. If you are not going to the Cotswolds, I would say the paper that this lesson is on is actually closer to hot press. Um, the paper's made in England. I know, so we don't normally work with hot press. This lesson can be 1000% done on cold press. Everything is more beautiful on cold press. It just takes longer to dry. So the other benefit of using a hot press sketchbook sometimes, the immediacy, obviously, but then also it's smooth. The texture's really smooth. And I find these pith notebooks, they have like a slight cream to them. So there's a color already a little bit when you're working on it, which kind of feels pretty. Um, but it is easier to use pen on a notebook like this. So you're going to want to use a sketchbook. You're going to want a pen. I'm using a Micron PN. It just has a tip that's more like a ballpoint pen. So it's less of a really fine art nib that should you press hard because you're excited, it breaks. PNs are more forgiving based on your pressure as an artist. Um, so that's the pen, and it's waterproof ink as well because it's Sakura. And then the colors I used are a lemon yellow and a yellow ochre And then if you have your stone ground set, a pansy blue. If you don't have stone ground, no worries, not required. Kind of like a cerulean blue would be really pretty. And then a really easy green that you can grab right off. I have been falling more and more in love with this Daler Rowney, this travel set. And this comes with pretty much my retreats always come with a Daler Rowney set. It's the basic. It's also on Amazon for like $15. I'll make sure I link it. It doesn't have a white in it. That's my only drawback because you guys know how much I love to mix a creamy color in there. Um, but it's got the full gamut of colors. It even has a raw sienna and a burnt sienna. And the raw sienna is very rich. It's beautiful and it's a great base to any landscape or any even skin tone you may be mixing. So this is a great set. Yay, more of you joined. Hello, Noelle. Hello, Elsa, Valerie. I don't think you're Jason, but yeah, you're not. That's what I thought. Maddie and Victoria and Corey and Lorraine and Melissa and Monique. And Melissa, you're here. How's your wrist?
Healing.
Healing.
Not a lot of movement, but still working on it.
Oh, she broke her wrist or sprained it. Yes? Broken.
Broke.
Um, happy story though. I feel like injuries like that are the things that slow us down so that we discover, that you love to knit and that you miss painting, right? My yeah, it does inhibit movement. However, it makes you really want it a little bit more. So I'm glad you're on the way to healing. All right, well, let's get started. It's 4:04 Pacific Standard Time. So I wanted to get everyone started. Like I said, you need a sketchbook, a waterproof pen, some yellows, blues, and greens. Technically, you really only need yellow and blue because you can always mix the green. Um, April, welcome. You're coming in from the Ala Moana Airport or Mall in Hawaii. April's on the hunt for some cute clothes. There's Corey. Hi, Corey. Looks like my email worked. You guys, there's way more people here. They're like, oh my God, it really is Flower Painting Club. This is exciting. And Julie's here. And you're so funny. Yes, Renee. I was like, your face looks familiar. She's not Jason, in case anyone's wondering. I don't know why it does that. Zoom does updates and then it's hard to make changes. Before we dive in, Maddie was so sweet. She sent me her piece to check out. Now, Maddie, did you do this piece from Patreon or this was my spin-off Patreon that I did with Let's Go Make Art?
I think I saw it on I think I saw it on Let's Go Make Art or something like that. I'm not sure where it came from, but I loved it so much. And I was like, I need those lines. I need those lines. But it was funny because I was so like, I didn't want to wait for your email. So I like tried to figure out how to just like create my own copy of it.
Uh-huh.
Before I even got your line. So, but I used like a picture, an image from that I found online of yours, and then
Okay.
I made that. So
yeah. This is just from looking at an image that you saw of mine online. Dang,
well,
I'm even more impressed. It looks beautiful. This is a great example of negative painting. And I wish it wasn't named that. I feel like we need to rename it because it's not negative at all. It's like one of the most positive experiences.
it's so fun. It's so fun.
It's so fun. It teaches you to see the reverse engineering, which is one of the greatest skills you can develop when you're learning to draw, is if you see the negative space, it informs the positive. And when you can see the negative space of a drawing or a painting or a photograph, the positive space that you leave behind is even more accurate. And it's a wild concept, but what you do, basically you draw it out, right? And then you paint in this lightest green even lighter than this one because it looks like that's a second layer, right? And the only thing you don't paint in is essentially your flowers and your berries. Everything else is painted green, very light. And then you slowly start adding in layers so that as you paint in darker and darker midtones, the white of your flower petals pop up off the page. And then you finally are left with adding in the reds and purples of your berry. And then you can come back and add yellow centers and then that petal shadowing, which is always how you paint a white flower, which is one of the hardest things in watercolor. So it's stunning.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I had so much fun. Yeah, I love the colors. I love this piece. And I was like, oh, I wish I could make, I wish I want to know how, yeah. I'm like, I wish I could draw that well too. I've got to, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, eventually. It's drawing.
Sarah, can I share mine?
Oh, Valerie, look at
Oh.
you. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, Maddie,
I
thank
did
you
this.
so
This is
much.
when Let's Make Art did it years ago. So I have a version of it too. I don't know if you could.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
It's
Yes,
a
yes,
fun
yes.
painting. Really like it.
It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Melissa Schmallenberger says, can we do this one together? That's amazing. Yes, you can. Maddie, Valerie, thank you so much for sharing yours. Nicole and Noelle say so beautiful in the chat. We actually do have a Patreon class. I started by actually sharing this as a Patreon. And then it was when Let's Go Make Art reached out to me and was like, would you like to guest teach? And that's when they flew me out to Texas and I did the filming and I did this one with the anemones. And I actually think the anemones and berries is my Patreon one. And the one I did with Let's Go Make Art was white roses and berries. So I will make a note so that I can link the Patreon one. So you already have a lesson and lines to do this. I believe it was around December or January, either a year or two ago. So I will go and find that and link it. So if anyone is
Sarah,
told, yes.
it was because I've done it twice. It was Let's Go Make Art, and it was the anemones and the berries, and then it was the bookmark.
Yes. Yes.
It was
Okay.
it was the pansy bookmark.
Okay, so I wonder if my Patreon was the rose one. I'm gonna have to go find it because yes, you've done it twice, and then you also did it you did the same technique, Shelley, with your beautiful gardenias
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I have framed at my house. And Shelley
Yeah,
gave the original, which was such an honor. So
I learned a lot.
yeah,
The Patreon one was just the roses.
okay,
Not just, but yeah, I think Chinese roses or something like that, because I did that once or twice. And then you
Okay.
had done the pink roses just shortly before then.
yes,
Yeah, that one I did
Good.
3 times. But yeah,
That's
those were really
amazing.
fun
Yeah,
tutorials.
there's something about the negative painting and the technique. Once you understand it, it can be applied to any type of light or white flower or really pet portraits. I mean, you can kind of take it and explore the concept further. It's the same as like I'm currently trying to challenge myself and work on sunlight, both the golden hour of sunrise and sunset. And let me tell you, it's not easy. So I'm just going to keep plugging away and you'll have a tutorial as soon as I understand it. But it's that same thing. Once it clicks, then you can repeat it and put it in the subject matter that you really like. So thank you. It takes a village. I appreciate you all helping my memory. I will for sure find it and I'll link it so you guys can all do it again. And I'll check my contract with Let's Make Art because I know I can't sell that box. They sold out of it. I think I own the image again, so I could just put that class up. So I'll check the contract to make sure I can do that because that would be really fun. Okay, well, let's get started with our lemon border. Before, if you have the email from me this morning reminding us of class, inside is a link to your Dropbox or to my Dropbox that also has the inspiration pictures. But I also want to make sure I pop that in the chat for you guys should you not have that access very easy. But here is going to be the link. Let me grab the link here real quick. Link for viewing, copy link. Zoom, zoom. Here we go. So this is going to take you to the Dropbox. And yes, Monique, ownership of Let's Make Art has changed. Sarah Cray now officially owns it. It moved away from the other company that she was working with.
Right. So maybe the contract, will it be still valid or not? You'll have to check with her. So
Exactly. Well, and it's not for sale anymore. So I feel like that's usually the trade, like that's usually when it transfers
right.
back. And I think it was only for a year. I won't give ownership of my classes for over a year. for
Right. So
reasons
you
like
might be
that.
able to, but I mean, it's always good idea to double check.
Yeah. Well, and that's how you stay friends with people, right?
Yeah.
You just, Christy and Brooke actually taught me that several years ago. I remember they've taught me many things, but one of the best things of communication that they've taught me, clear is kind.
Perfect. Yeah.
Clear is kind. And it's just always just a really good thing to live by. And I feel like the more, because it can get sticky, right? So I would rather be friends than clear is kind. Okay. Okay, you have the link to the chat where it has, or sorry, to the Dropbox in the chat. And let's get started with our piece. Desktop share. So minimize that, minimize this. Maddie, your beautiful piece. Oh, this is another fun project that will be up on Patreon soon. Just been painting away over here, guys. Okay, our meeting is just transcribed. I'm gonna minimize, oh, no, I'm gonna minimize that. There we go. I'm gonna move this down. Okay, here we go. So if you'll notice, the bar is at 50 minutes, but it is a longer one. So I'm just gonna start. I'm showing you on the right-hand side of the screen, the actual black and white lines, because once you start drawing this, it's very obvious the next step, right? So I wanted you to see kind of how I start a piece like this. Sometimes I use whatever I have near me for a straight line. Either it's a journal or a paint box. But I saw this design on an old English plate or a teacup. I can't remember, but I just loved it. And it like stuck in my brain. And I wanted it to feel like a looser border, not absolutely perfectly geometrically square, right? I wanted it to feel like a hand painted border. So I drew the first line on the left with a ruler type, but then I just started kind of freehanding it. So it's kind of fun for you guys to be able to see my actual hand, how I lock the pen. Thought that would be helpful for you guys to see this. Even though my hand, it's so funny watching it back. It looks very awkward when I hold a pen, like maybe it hurts. It's like a little crab holding my brush or my pen. And my hand doesn't look like this when I paint, but for some reason, the way I grip the pen, but I'm holding it very tight. My fingers are not moving. The pen is not really moving in my fingers, right? The only thing that's moving is either my wrist or sometimes my elbow, depending on how long of a stint I want to draw. So I did a box outlining and then a second box inside. So it's two sets of rectangles that we've drawn. And like I said, it becomes very, very obvious where the design is going. And when you guys get this recording, you'll be able to see, I'm going to include the pictures of the black and white drawing. So if that's all you get to today, don't worry. I've come to draw faster because I've been practicing my daily drawing. So Maddie, like you said, I just want to be able to draw that just free one day, right? The best way to practice is doing the daily drawing. It's kind of like I'm doing my French Duolingo classes. I'm on day 200 today. And I told my husband this morning as I was sketching, I was like, I think I might stop at day 200. He's like, isn't that the whole point of the learning curve is to keep going when you're really done? And I'm like, you're right. I'll keep going on my Duolingo for French and I will keep doing my daily drawing because in a year I'll be very happy I did. So we've got it. This has allowed my hand to be very steady when I draw, and it's because I practice, right? It's the muscle memory. My hand almost knows better what to do than sometimes even my brain. And on the days where my brain feels foggy or I'm not sure if I want to show up for art, my hand already kind of knows what to do. And this is the benefit of showing up for daily drawing, even if it's like, goodness gracious, another leaf, or I don't really want to draw today. I always feel better when I do. And then it's when I want to pop something like this out, I can do it quicker and my pen strokes are surer and more strong. That's something I've noticed looking back on art in my previous years of art when I really started doing a lot of line work in 2014. My lines were very unsure, same pen, but it was sometimes the line was sure, sometimes it was wobbly, sometimes it was thicker and darker, other times it was thin, and it really all has come down to muscle memory and how my hand now knows what to do. So I'm doing kind of this little banner of like a little bunting. It almost looks like a party bunting banner. It would be half of an oval if you wanted to look at a shape. The line sometimes touches the outside rectangle, sometimes not. I guess it's the inner rectangle. If you see the final photos, which I can pull up as well, I can't, it'll interrupt our video. But this is going to be eventually, this little bunting layer will be painted in yellow ochre. So it's going to be a darker yellow, almost like a mid-tone yellow. You guys want me to pause for a second? You guys good? Shelly's watching. Valerie's very studiously drawing. I can see you. I can't see everyone. So it looks like some people are watching and some people are drawing. So I'll just keep on going with the video until someone raises a flag and is like, too fast. Okay, so now I'm starting to draw lemons. Some of my lemons look like misshapen potatoes. So if yours do as well, you're in good company. I am just putting lemons strategically around. But notice there's a nice gap in between where I'm placing the lemon and to the little oval bunting. Okay, because I want to add leaves and I want to add those blue stripy lines. Blue and yellow obviously look really good together. They're complementary colors. So I wanted to leave room to kind of echo this teacup that I saw at an antique store. And I am placing lemons overlapping one another, ones kind of sporadically, sometimes in groups of 1, 2s, or 3s. And I want to just consistently be leaving room for the leaves and then that blue stripe. And notice I am moving my journal to make it benefit me. So there are angles sometimes that the journal is getting in my way with my hand. Sometimes I like it propped up on the paint box. You can see it's underneath. I like that angle. It's a little bit easier. You can see it's a little bit easier on my hand. I'm not squinching it up quite so tight. And then depending on spacing, how I'm kind of spacing these out, I can move my journal how it fits best. That one kind of looks like a little awkward potato. I think this piece would be really pretty to try to replicate in every season. So this design with the lemons and the stripes and the bunting, it's blues and yellows. It feels very summery, almost like an English tea party or even maybe a hot Greek day where you're out on a terrace and you're picking up the blues of the ocean and the yellows of the citrus, where you could quickly make this a fun fall banner and maybe you're doing apples and you're leaning more into the burnt reds and raw siennas of a harvest. And you could do stripes, or you could do kind of look at different things that feel like fall. I feel like making Pinterest boards based on seasonal inspiration has been really fun and helpful. Okay, I am starting to draw the lemon vine. Full disclosure, you might want to wait and do your leaves first, okay? I started this and did it on the right side with this kind of vine, and then realized that the moment I drew that in with ink, I couldn't draw leaves on top of it. So the leaves are always going to be behind this vine on the right side. And I realized as I wanted to continue my design that I wanted the leaves to be more prominent than the vine. However, a continuous vine all the way around could be super cute and fun too. I wanted the leaves to feel more of the focal point than the vine. Although maybe if you were making this more of a holiday themed banner, that vine could become a ribbon, maybe a candy striped ribbon, or even that could be a string of lights. And so you'd want that to be more prominent and carry around, and you would add like little light bulbs or something, or maybe holly or mistletoe around. So the order that you draw things does matter based on your composition and what you want to emphasize at the end. And I started thinking about the leaves after I drew that vine on the right, and you can see I'm looking at the teacup and I'm going, shoot, I should have done leaves first. So I just switched. And that's what a sketchbook is for, right? My sketchbooks have become a little precious, I'm not gonna lie. Especially my nice ones from Bella Classica or Les Cargo, because I know they're made with such beautiful paper and I know they're a limited commodity. So I've made them a bit more precious, where my Pith sketchbook that's like, I can find another one at the store, at the art store. I feel a little bit more like I can test colors out. I can make mistakes. I can try fun, playful banners in this. It also helps that the paper is quicker to dry. But I am a little bit more free in my Pith sketchbook, and I think that comes out in some of the pages just kind of looking a little bit crappier, and that's okay. That's what the sketchbook is for. And I'm saying this out loud because I'm reminding myself, because I often forget that sketchbooks are not meant to be these finely crafted, beautiful works of art that all desire or all need a beautiful reel at the end to celebrate they're done. I feel like I should do a reel of a sketchbook that has actually a lot of work being done. So you see the full creation process, that you have to create a lot of crap in order to create a lot of beauty, right? So now along the bottom, I've put in the leaves that I want, at least the leaves that are going to be connecting. And then I can add more leaves. But by adding in the vine after the leaves, it gives me the freedom to have some leaves come to the forefront. Now, my vine is pretty straightforward. You could add some loop-de-loos, almost if you think about like roller coasters, like maybe you want to add some interest. I do that in the corner here, so that's something to think about. Adding in leaves as I go. This is one of those pieces where I listen to a certain podcast or I start listening to a book when I'm painting or drawing, and the book immediately, the part comes back. And I had just started Jane Eyre, Bronte's book, and it was so sad. I actually had to stop Jane Eyre because I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. And this piece is so happy. It just they were not resonating together. I should have started a Jane Austen for this one. This feels very more like a Jane Austen series of misunderstandings, and then everyone still ends up happy in the end. All right, here's a little twisty turn. So of course my lovely left thumb is blocking it, but you'll see it in a second. So I made a C shape and then echoed the thickness of the vine into the C shape and then worried about where it would loop back up so that the loop-de-loop part of the vine all worked together. But if for some reason you start to draw a vine and you're like, oh crap, I cut my exit off, that's okay too. You can just put a leaf on it. All right. So I twisted that around, added leaves. Now I'm thinking about how to make this piece more of a seasonal border. I think that that would be really fun to do. I'm always thinking about how a piece can become something a little bit more because it makes it exciting for me to return to. It's like there's that last bit in your book that you're so excited to go and finish and you think about it all day. And that's what a piece is. If I have, it's not a dead end piece, right? It's like our negative painting piece that we were playing with and talking about earlier is the idea that what other flowers would go well with this same technique where I can practice the technique so I'm getting better at the technique, but I am varying my subject matter so I don't get bored. Like this would be such a great way to continue to practice your drawing skills is pick a different season or a different theme. Maybe it's oranges. So you've got oranges and you could even add cherries. That feels kind of summery. But for the negative painting piece, Shelley, you did a really good job picking gardenias because that vibe of the garden and the richness of the leaves works really well still. And also the shadows of the white petals. You could do magnolia blooms with a negative painting piece. The white roses made a lot of sense.
Holly,
Mm.
Christmas.
Holly for Christmas would be really perfect. Yes, Carol. And like ribbons. I could see this being really fun ribbons and even doing like a big bow in the center would be pretty, or even like a winter wreath. You could make it evergreens and then tag in some holly. That'd be beautiful. Spring could be like poppies and sweet
Pine cones.
pine cones. Yes, see, you guys are all, we could do this. So you could have a sketchbook for a full year, right? And then if you plan well, like every 5 pages, do a wreath of or a border like this, right? And then it kind of invites you to continue the journey in your sketchbook. You've got all these different wreaths. I just love it. It's pretty. It's extremely satisfying watching drawing back, even though it's like, wait, that's my hand. I know I was doing that, but if you do have the joy of getting to watch this back where you're doing that now, it is very, this is that pith paper, like I said. So they have different size sketchbooks and I haven't done enough research. So if anyone knows more about pith, it's on my to-do list to research before I leave for England. But so I've been tagging pith on Instagram a bunch and they're like, which sketchbook paper and sketchbook are you using? And I was like, oh, I didn't realize there was such a big difference. So I'm using the Tangelo. And I saw another maker using an Oro Blanco of theirs, and they were saying that the Oro Blanco didn't take the water as well, where the Tangelo, you can add water on and it's really good with mixed media and like we're doing, we're adding ink and then we're going to come back and add watercolor and you can come back and add gouache. So that's something to be aware of if you're like, oh, I want to order more pith notebooks. This is the Tangelo. And I thought the Tangelo was just telling me the size, but I think it actually might, the papers change too. But they even have tiny ones, like really cute little ones of these journals. Okay, now I'm adding in where the blue stripes will be. So I am not a precise measurer. And I kind of just eyeballed it. What I want to do is, if you look at the final photo, it's every other blue is striped in, and then I reserve the white of the page for the stripe in between. And in the end, inevitably, of course, I ended up with two stripes next to each other, and one of them had to be blue, but then it would have been duplicating a blue next to it. So I was like, whatever. It wasn't super precise. It's meant to be playful. So in the corners is kind of where I tucked in, so it felt more like a picture frame. So when you get to a corner, starting to angle those lines in so it looks more like a picture frame was helpful. But if you find yourself in a corner and you're like, yeah, I can just do one line, it's fine. That's totally good too. It's pretty relaxing, huh?
Do you want to bring it up to the vine line, or do you like having the spaces in some places?
Yeah, so I changed. I added variety. I didn't ever, I think maybe once or twice I touched the vine line, but I liked the breathing room of the black line by the vine. I
Okay.
liked that gap and that space. It felt nice, actually.
Okay.
So the paint, once we get to paint, I actually paint the blue lines last. So that's a great question, because unless you watch the recording, which I will include of it all the way to the end, we won't get to that most likely, because we're almost halfway. We'll get close. But so some of that, when I paint in the little blue wash, sometimes I go all the way to the leaf that it's next to, mainly just because it's a small space. But I don't feel like it's gonna make a huge difference. So now, when you paint in, yeah, I don't feel like it's gonna make, and see some of the lines that I'm drawing, which you're drawing, you're probably finding it's like sometimes you can get them close together, sometimes you can get them far apart. But if you pull away from your page, anytime I readjust, you see me readjusting my pen, that's me actually pulling back from the art, uncramping my hand, taking a breath, and kind of looking at the overall composition to make sure that my lines along the right side of my piece are evenly spaced in accordance with the lines on the bottom of the page. Because sometimes when you're getting really close to your piece, right, we cramp down and we lose track of the spacing. Just continuing to go, again, moving my sketchbook to where it's most comfortable for my hand to work. I found, especially drawing lines, that flipping the sketchbook around to make it convenient for me was nice. Made me once again thankful for watercolor, that I can work on a flat surface and I'm not up on an easel and trying to angle everything, right? Any other questions as I'm going? Watching April, I'm really impressed that you're doing this in a mall. I was fully expecting you to say hi and then just keep on shopping. She's given up on the shopping. That top's perfect for England.
Oh, this top?
Yes,
Oh,
perfect.
that's something I had, but thank you. But we
Yeah.
did find, we went through like 5 dresses and my daughter's like, no. So we might have one, but she's now shopping for makeup. And I said, I'm going to go do my class. So hopefully, yes, but she hasn't come back to claim me yet. So we're good.
Good. Yeah,
Right.
if I let my daughters loose on skincare or makeup, I don't see them for hours. That was a good tactic.
And then it's different trying to paint in the mall. I found a table by Starbucks and I'm using their internet. So it was sketchy for a while, but at least I'm starting to, but I think I'm watching more because just the area I'm in.
Yeah, not quite as peaceful as your glass
No.
house.
No, lots of, and birds. There's tons of birds flying around here.
Oh,
I know, people chasing the birds away. I don't have food.
that's funny. Oh, well, impressed. All right, so I've flipped that black line art on again so you can see the finished piece. Anyone else close to being done?
I
Oh,
have a question, Sarah.
yes.
So I haven't started drawing the little lines yet.
Okay,
Well, like two things. Like one, I didn't leave enough room in some places,
trying to find.
but also, are you drawing the lines from a certain part of like the scallopy thing?
From the scallop. If I was, so for those of you following the video, it looks like I'm repeating myself. I am repeating myself because I uploaded the same video twice, apparently. So Noelle, your question couldn't have been better, perfectly timed. So thank you for that. So I'm touching the scallop line. And I am going almost to the vine, sometimes touching the vine. And depending on how consistent I was with my scallop, sometimes it's in the crack of the scallop and sometimes it's in the bunting part. So
Okay. So you're
it's,
focusing more on the line spacing
yes,
than like where it's okay.
yes.
Yeah, that makes sense because it'll look better that way.
Noelle, what do you do for a job? I ask.
What?
What do you do for a job? That was a very precise question. Are you an engineer?
Oh, no, but I mean, I used to be a professor. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a math educator.
Okay, yes, I love that because that was a very left
I've always
brain
been a
question.
very like detailed.
Uh-huh. See,
Yeah, I very like to understand. Like
Mhm.
it's just it's really just like how I move through the
Yeah.
world. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna do it like you did it,
Uh-huh.
but that's like how I make decisions, right? It's like understanding like
Yes.
what
No,
happened before.
it's
Yeah,
it's
what have
it's
other people tried?
fascinating.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love that. That's if you've ever done like personality tests and stuff, that's like a perceiving rather than a judging mentality if you did the Myers-Briggs. And I always wished that I was more like I asked a lot of questions first and understood the whole thing before I dove in. But my personality is like, for me, I'm the opposite. I jump first and then think later. And my oldest daughter is similar to me, and it drives me bonkers because we're similar. And my youngest is like you, Noelle, because she's like, I need to understand A to Z first before I commit. And I don't know. I always wish I was more perceiving because I feel like the end product is usually a little bit better because you've taken the time to understand. So sorry, I put you on the
I think
spot. It
it's
was
good
just,
when you can find like your match like that.
uh-huh.
Because like it drives me crazy. Like when people are just the like whole in the corporate world of like we're building the plane while we fly it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God, please no. Like let's think about it before we start. Like we could save so many errors and so much time and so much money. But
Yes.
I think if you can find like they pair well together, right? Because like I also need people to be like, let's just start. Let's just
Yes.
start something, right? Because we
Yes.
can't always know everything. But also,
Yeah.
I think I really do help people be like, hey, like, let's just pause just for a minute. Like, sometimes it is good to
Yeah.
have like that balance of the,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why we need community, right? And jobs and also in creative community, because like you're asking questions that I didn't think to even say because I'm somewhat building this as I fly it, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. Sometimes like travel, it's like you only know what you know. You can only control what you can control, and then you do just kind of have to jump. So it's a mix of both. But yes, good questions, not precise. I was more concerned about the overall how the spacing in general looked from far away rather than matching a line with either the crux or like the convex or the concave bit of the bunting. So, but good question. Mine wasn't precise. If you got a ruler out and did millimeters, I bet you'd be able to do it. So. Um, okay, lemon yellow for the lemons. Just did a really easy, quick wash. I was using a little filbert. It's slightly rounded right on the edge. I think I'm using the rounded one. It might be square. I think it's rounded. Yeah, it's the little 2 rounded filbert. And that worked for the lemons because there's a lot of rounded edges, and I thought it would work for the bunting, but it became too tedious. This is another part where I'm like, nah, it'll be fine. So I switched to my round 1, and now I'm using the yellow ochre, and I'm using my round 1. And notice I paint a thick wash on it. Now keep in mind what type of paper you're using. If you're using cold press, you might not be able to go as fast as I'm going, but hot press, I was able to get these on quick. And there's going to be variation in my hot press border because it's drying so much faster than my cold press. So I wanted that though with the hot press, because then I don't have to worry about dragging my hand through something that's already, or that's on its way to drying. But my border is going to have kind of a variety of saturation. Some bits are going to be thicker paint, and then you can see kind of where I drag out the color, and that is going to be thinner yellow. And I liked that variety because I felt like it looked more like the hand-painted porcelain teacup that I was looking at. Where if you're working with cold press, wetting a whole line down with just water and then dabbing in yellow ochre up and down the border would work. Especially if you're in a climate that is high humidity, you'll have more time to dry. But if you're on hot press paper, even a high humidity climate isn't going to do much. All right, so I'm just, again, the idea is a glimpse of thin color, as much on the bunting as you can. Notice also with this hot press is it stays where I put it a little bit easier, which is nice. Cold press is a little bit more of a wild game because there's usually more water and the drying time is longer. So it gives the paint more time to make marks maybe where you don't want them, where hot press is rewarding in that way, where you can, it almost works like a marker. So I tried to stay in the bunting. In some areas, I did go into the outer rectangle, but that was more like just because I wasn't really thinking about it too heavily, and I was wanting to move a little quicker because I wanted to share this tutorial with you guys. And I was like, if this takes too long, we're not going to ever get to it, right? We're not going to be able to finish it in an hour. All right, so now I am mixing up a green. Inevitably, I love greens. I love all the different amazing tones you can make with greens, but you can see I'm kind of swatching them off to the right like I do in sketchbooks, but I was overthinking it. And I wanted this design to remain simple. So I played with the hooker green. I played with, you can see I'm kind of trying different things out, an olive green. I don't like the Viridian green that's in the Daler Rowney, just like straight on. It's, if you're looking at the palette at the top of the screen, it's the third in from the left in the second row. It's just not my favorite green. So I'm always mixing yellow with it, or one of the yellows or one of the blues. But I end up working out of Stone Ground's olive green. So I played with a few different greens on the top leaves on the top right. You can see I'm kind of like, oh, do I do wet and wet? Do I do a little wet on dry? And then I'm like, I'm overcomplicating things, still overcomplicating things. I think Shelly and I were chatting on Instagram this week, and she was saying the key is stopping with the landscapes. That, that was our Patreon project this month, is get the overall gist down, squint at it, block it out, and then walk away. My tendency is to overcomplicate and keep adding details. And this piece, along with the landscapes, really does benefit from just getting the color down. So if you've got an olive green, if you don't have an olive green, that Viridian or any type of green mixed with lemon yellow will get you really close to an olive green. And if you're not there yet, just add more lemon yellow and you will get to this olive green. If you're ever having a hard time mixing greens, send me a DM on Instagram or a message in Patreon or just an email. That's fine too. I am more than happy to try to play and help you fix and make some cool greens. I like to have a lot at my fingertips because obviously mixing a cool green depends on which yellows and which blues you have. But an olive green, just having it on hand, like I'm just tapping right into the cake. It's really nice to just have one already pre-mixed. As much as I love to mix colors, if I'm working in small spaces like these tiny leaves, it is the best to already have a cake of the color so you can tap into it. All I've done is put water on top of that olive green cake, and I'm letting the water animate the paint and wake it up as I go. And I'm just tapping right on top of that cake to really get a saturated olive green. If I'd had to mix this olive green, I would have ended up with a lot of water in the mixture just because mixing two colors, you need water to animate the two colors of paint, right? And then you finally get this fabulous green, but it's too wet and wild to use for very small spaces like these leaves. So by having a cake already done is great. If you are at the point where you're like, well, great, I've mixed this fabulous green, but it is too wet, my suggestion is let that mixture dry completely. Let all the water evaporate out of it. Let that magical color that you've made dry on your palette, and then come back in an hour or so and add just a small amount of water. And you can treat that mixture like a cake, right? So you can just add the smallest amount of water so that essentially you aren't even really watercoloring these leaves. You're just transferring pigment. That's all you're doing. It's almost like a marker. You're using your paintbrush like a marker. It's like a paint by numbers, this piece. And I do come back, and after the little green leaves, I do come back and add dark leaves on top as a wet on dry layer. So as small little green glazes, I do come back and add, I think I take the hooker's green and I add accents on. So if you've already painted all your leaves in and you're like, I'm ready for a deeper one, adding in sporadically just little dark green leaves will help balance out the rest of the composition because I've already added some dark on the right, so I had to keep it going. I don't end up adding any color on the vines. And that may have been an oversight, but it could also be a personal choice. You could add in a green and do kind of like a green all the way around if you wanted. I kind of like that it's just ink, but that's one of those decisions you can make later. And we're doing good. We've got all the leaves going. We have a few minutes left, enough to start our blue for sure. And then, like I said, I'll make sure that you guys get the recording of this with the audio, but then also you'll get the recording without audio and you can see me complete it A to Z. And it'll be a YouTube video, so you can change the viewing speed to like 2 times fast. I always like doing that on my tutorials because I like to kind of get the overall I like to see where they're going. So Noelle, there's a little bit of order to my chaos. All right, so yes, I'm grabbing a little bit of the hooker's green. I also have a, yeah, that's the hooker's green. I also have I can't remember exactly what color that is in the Chesterfield that I'm using. I had a really great conversation with Stone Ground this last week on labeling their cakes. And so we've got some good solutions because currently you get these lovely cakes from Stone Ground and it's a crapshoot to know which color is which, especially when you add a magnet on the bottom and put them in these cute tins, you have no idea what they are. So I want to say it's Hunter's green and Hooker's green, and the Hunter's green in this is a gouache, but I don't have my code with me, my key code with me. So I could just be completely making that name up. But now I'm just, again, I just added water to the top of the cake, and I'm going right into that really deep green. Now, mixing a really nice deep green like that, if you just have a Daler Rowney set, or maybe you have a more simple watercolor set, take a really deep blue. So most watercolor sets come with ultramarine blue, and mixing that with a lighter green in your palette, you're going to get almost like a Monstera green, a really nice deep green. Okay, I'm playing with the greens. I want to skip ahead just enough so you can see my blue stripes. So if you're mid green leaf and you're like, no, I kind of want to do some blue stripes with Sarah. Let me go back to just right here. Perfect. So you can actually see. So I've picked up my filbert. Again, it has that flat edge. So I'm able to kind of almost just paint a stripe. This works really well with a round one as well. But again, just like doing the small leaves, you don't need a lot of water. What you want is a lot of pigment. So working with a smaller brush enables you not to pick up too much water. And then working with the water mixture that is literally sitting on top of your cake is going to give you a very saturated paint wash mixture. So you can just put it right on to your paper. There you go. You could always come back with another layer. Even if you're working on cold press right now, right there, I brought the blue all the way to the lemon. You saw that? And then I didn't like it. So I am leaving a little bit of a space. And then I'm like, oh, do I go to the vine? I liked what I found is I liked the blue maybe going all the way to the vine, but maybe not necessarily the ink. But again, no one is going to be able to see this. The overall effect does not change. But this pansy blue, it can be created and mixed. It's good definitely if you don't have the stone ground pansy blue, you're going to want to mix a white into whatever blue you use, because this blue, I think part of the charm of it in this composition is its opacity. It feels almost like a little circusy with the yellow bunting and the blue lines, or maybe like bathers' tents on a British beach was kind of what I was going for. It feels a little bit vintage, and the opacity really makes the difference, and the bright blue with the bright yellow is super fun. So this is how I finished it, just going around. You guys get the gist now as you go around. And right at the end, I'll show you what happened. It was pretty funny. So I got all the way to the end and realized right there. Do you see how? Let's go back just a few seconds. There's no way to do that. Okay. So I get to the point where it's just, it's like when you're trying to use, remember the VCRs, and you're trying to like rewind your favorite part, and it's like just not quite right. You just got to wait it out. All right. So see how I came up and I'm like, ah, dang it. one of these needs to be blue in the middle. So I just painted it. I was like, well, it's highly opaque, right? It has a lot of chalk white in it. So it covers up the black line anyways. So that's the finished piece. I always love these little bits on the right. So I've been making sure to include this just because it shows my thought process along the way. I feel like it's helpful for me in the future. So it's probably very helpful for you now. I will stop screen sharing. We have a few minutes. If anyone would like to share their piece, does anyone have a piece that's dry enough to hold up that would like? Rachel, I see you. Look how cute. No pen. You just went for it, girl. I love it. It feels so playful. Now, what are you going to put in it? That's the question. She's unmuting.
I
Hi.
don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe yeah,
No,
I
it
don't
feels like
know.
it needs like a beachy scene.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, like some umbrellas or something. Thank you. That looks
Yeah. I
beautiful.
wanted to try the lemon part with no lines because I wanted it to be more loose, and that's something I struggle with. So
I feel you there. It looks beautiful. I love it. It looks like a picture frame of something. It's cute. All right, Elsa's ready. Spotlighting you. I'm gonna unmute yourself. There you go. Look how fun.
I'm still working on it.
Yes.
I
See?
like the line stuff.
Yeah. Well, the composition of this piece is fun. That's part of the reason that drew me is like the looseness of the lemons and the vine with the structure of the rectangle and the bunting feels, and then the lines. That's really cute. Look how pretty yours is. Guys,
I
this is
just used,
fun.
I didn't have hot because I used my mixed media paper.
Okay. How did it go?
Yeah, it went well. I'm kind of going over the blue a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
to
Increasing the
deepen it.
saturation. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, we just got back from the beach, and so it reminded me of the beach.
Yeah, it feels like the beach, doesn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very nice. All
Thanks.
right, Julie, I see you. Oh, look how fun. You want to remove your audio? Tell us how it went. Or I guess add your audio.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Yeah, I really liked it. I forgot. I wasn't thinking that I was painting between the stripes. I was looking at it for pretty tiny stripes. But I made the green by mixing because I decided to do cobalt turquoise for the blue. I haven't started it yet, but I really liked that color combination. And so I made the green by mixing the cobalt blue and the lemon yellow and some ochre.
Nice work. And so it'll all feel so cohesive once you get that blue on there.
And I really enjoyed doing this. This is more my style than like really loose stuff. I need a little bit more structure. So I really enjoyed this one a lot. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, this one feels relaxing to me, where the landscapes for this project this month, they were a little stressful. I was sweating and I removed the audio because I wasn't I wasn't very pleased as I was painting the landscapes. There was lots of exclamations of frustration.
That's funny.
It's real. I mean, landscapes and architecture are definitely, it's not what I practice. So when I have to do them, which I should, because to be well-rounded, right? You want to keep trying and doing hard things. And I know it's growing my brain, but it's rough. So yeah, Julie, I'm with you. I love the lines. They're all there. And then I just fill them in. And that's when I can like listen to an audiobook. That's why this piece would be really good to do. Like I said, it's not going to push you. You're probably not going to grow incredibly much, right? Maybe you will with your drawing skills, but maybe not your painting skills. Where your painting skills and your spatial recognition and ability to have self-control to stop is really going to grow with your landscapes.
The spacing was really helpful too because I almost did the lemons in pencil.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. And then I thought, no, just do them and I noticed that because I don't really see the patterns that easily, so I had to break it down. And I noticed that your lemons were pretty much in a row. The lemons weren't going up and down like that. The the vine was. So then it was like, okay, I can do that. I can figure that out. So I didn't do it in pencil, and that was a stretch for me. So
Good. See, and that's where everyone on their journey, it's like different things are different stretches. So good for you jumping right into pen. That feels very scary. I'm working on that with my daily drawing, especially if it has circles. If anything is circular in a daily drawing, I like to start with a pencil because I like to get that perspective in first. But I've been trying to go right to pen just so that I don't overthink it.
and I thought I would do calligraphy like happy birthday in the center and have it for a birthday card for someone.
So clever. Love it. You'll have to send a picture when it's done.
Okay.
Okay. Carol, you ready? I thought you were watching the whole time. Look at you.
Oh. Let's see.
That's beautiful.
Well, it's not finished. But I used a Bristol paper.
Yes.
It's not actually hot press, but I couldn't find my hot press. So it was very nice to work on, very smooth to make the lines. And it's not in focus, unfortunately. Oh, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, and the blue color that I chose was cerulean, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's bright. It feels really pretty. No, it's really, I like yours feels really dainty and very playful. It's really pretty. I like it.
I'm envisioning to use this as a kind of a blank for invitations.
See? That's a great, oh, look, a summer dinner party.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
you guys, this is amazing. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to use this for. And now all these ideas, those are so good. I love that. Cards. Yeah, everyone loves a little hand painted something. And to make that into an invitation, you could scan that and replicate it, and everyone would be so excited. Well, I mean, submit it to Minted. You never know. You can make some side hustle income. Okay, Corey, you ready? All right. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. That looks beautiful. And you used your Canson pad?
I did, yeah.
That's a perfect use for it.
Yeah. It worked out great.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
thrilled.
really
Mostly
playful.
I got all stopped up at the blue because I couldn't find the right mix, and then I'm just like, just do it. So it's finished, and that's all. I'm thrilled that it's finished because I struggle to finish things. I get to
feel
the
you.
end and I'm like, oh, it's not perfect, and I can't make myself just complete a work. So I'm thrilled. It's done.
You did it.
Yep.
You did it. It's beautiful. And you just got back from Maine.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah, that was
magical
fun.
time.
I loved it. Yep. I can't wait. I'm gonna have to try some blueberries next because I have a few pictures of blueberries.
That's a perfect. I wonder if you did blueberries and a stripe.
Oh
That would
yeah.
feel very July.
Yeah, and then maybe red for the stripes instead of.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. That's a 4th of July party invite right there. That's cool. Very good. Way to finish. I think
Thank you.
I struggle with that as well. I am currently working on that learning light, and I did 2 studies of it. I followed my own instructions, 2 studies of it, and I am struggling, and I was I might bail, but maybe I'll finish, Corey.
I was going through my art supplies today, and I have all of these watercolor blocks, and all of my blocks are stopped up with half finished paintings. So I either need to abandon them or get some more paper or something. But yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, you should just take them off. Start anew.
Yep. Use the backs or something.
Yeah. Well, and you can still paint on it once you pull it off the block. It'll just get the waves, but
it'll
just tape them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tape them on a board. I mean, it is hard to like finish, and it's what's his name? Creative Act, Rick Rubin. He talks about how important it is when you're in it to finish it. Because who you are in 3 months when you come back is so different than who you were when you did it. And so it's like, even if you don't have the skills, just do it. And I'm like, oh, I have such a hard time with that. Or like not knowing what color. Like I like putting something up on a wall and
I
then
know it gets dust on it when it's a fucking.
it does get dust on it. It does, and cat hair.
Yeah.
But yes, so he made that argument in his book, and it's true. But then I think there is also some, I always want to argue that artistically. It's like, but the skill sets that I'm learning over the next few months will inform my next steps and may make finishing this piece unlock a new level, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I don't know. These are the things I think about at 11 o'clock, which is why I have to read fairy books in my class, so that I can
And I'm
follow.
just gonna abandon the pieces and say, okay, I learned something in the process and keep going because there's too much unfinished. Too much.
I feel you. Yep,
Yep.
that
Sarah,
works.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Hi, Sandy, for sure.
How are you?
Yeah.
This is nothing to do with lemons. When we get to England, can we address foreground and
Yeah.
like have a meadow of lavender, how to handle the whole thing?
I guess I love that you're asking this. And for those of you not going to England, this actually does still apply to you. Because that is where I'm going with my teaching actually is in England specifically, but then when I teach something like background, foreground, and then that elusive midground, where do I put the focal point? How do I build a composition? So for those of you that are like, okay, I understand how to copy a piece, I understand how to follow a tutorial. The biggest next leap is coming up with your own composition.
Sure.
And it's hard. It's a hard challenge. So what we're going to be focusing on in the retreat, and I know once I teach it in the retreat, it's going to carry into Flower Painting Club, is taking these different vignettes. Maybe there's a foreground that you love, like you love the flowers or the field or the colors, but then there's a background that would be like a really pretty castle or maybe vineyards. And you're like, how do I bring that together to make a cohesive piece? So spoiler alert, it's a lot of vignettes and a lot of studies.
Look
Yes.
at that mushy mess on top.
No, that's beautiful. It's your lavender fields. You did it. I know exactly what
it's
that
not
is.
pretty. But I mean, look at that. I want to do it again and again because it's so intense.
It is so intense. I love the color. And this little house down here, look at this scene. Was that from your imagination?
Well, I had a hard time seeing what you put online. So I went to a place where the free images.
Yeah.
And those were a couple I saw with no copyright.
Yeah, that's perfect. God, those are beautiful. Those are lovely
Oh,
vignettes.
and then here's my William Morris.
Oh, look at that.
Let me see if I have it
The
here.
Tudor Rose. So
No, remember you wrapped things up in it?
I do. Sandy's giving us such a good preview of the beautiful supplies. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's like you copied the fabric right into your book.
I did it.
What a great idea. So good, Sandy.
I love William Morris.
I know. I do too. He
Yeah.
really brought interior design and pattern into our world as we know it. So incredible man.
All those carpets you see on, Instagram or Facebook or anywhere, it's all his designs.
Yeah, it is. Sandy Monique says that's beautiful.
Oh.
All right, very fun. Thank
So
you.
that was my big question is, when you've got this big expanse, because we'll see a lot of fields and
right. Well, and that's kind of when we travel, right? We all see it's for me, it is easier to find a favorite flower and then dissect the layers and the colors there, but it's a completely different experience when you're taking in a background, a foreground, and a midground, knowing what to focus on, knowing how to space everything. So yes, we're going to be doing a lot of studies of that.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be a fun challenge. So yeah, well, thanks for the question. All right, well, thank you all so much for joining me today and painting lemons and stripes. And hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And if you have any questions or if you want to share your finished product, you can always tag me, put it on Instagram. But then you can also throw it into our community forum on Patreon. And I'll have this recording and also the full length YouTube, should you want to get a really close-up look of those stripes, all available tomorrow. Okay.
Sarah, when is September?
September is, look, I think it's the 28th. So I was able to time my flower painting club to the Sunday before I left for England, which is today, to the last Sunday in September that I'm back, which is the 28th.
Okay.
28th of September. Yes. So, and you'll be getting a reminder email that morning as
Thank
well.
you. Thank you.
right.
That was great.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Fun.
All right.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah, so
Thank
fun.
thank you.
Thank
Have
Bye.
fun in
See you
England,
guys.
everyone.
Have so much fun in England, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you,
See you.
Sarah.
Bye,
All
Travel
guys.
right, thank
safely.
you.